On runway 07, center. On runway 07, center. On runway 07, center. Flaps, flaps.
Please prepare CDU. Officer today.
Good evening. I just wanted the music to finish there. Why not? Why not? So, welcome everybody. Welcome to Mac and Paul and Rab here on Discord and Fry Simulation there. I can see your name. The others, I can't see your names yet. So, but anyway, welcome. Hope you guys are going to enjoy the stream with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I've been putting off doing the training on the GLS for months and months and months and months, okay? And because I was hoping that Sasso will join me, or maybe Alex would join me, so that this will be a continuation of the previous training series we did. But, you know, the first 5 episodes we did with both of them here. Unfortunately, it's just never happened. And it's coming to a point now where I feel kind of embarrassed to a certain extent because I haven't done it. Now, I'm quite capable of doing it, so I'm going to read through a couple of things there with you, and I'm going to explain to you in the Zibo how it works. And, then you go and you just try it and let me know if you succeed or don't succeed. I've done some testing in the last 2 days, a couple of times here at Frankfurt. It seems to be the best place at this point in time to do training with GLS because it's not available all over the world. It's definitely not available in LPPR where I usually do my test flights. So I've set up some saved flight situations, but before we get into that, we'll go through the paperwork and we'll set the Zibo mod up, this beautiful aircraft of ours that you guys can actually go and use it and see how it works initially on the ground. So let me quickly just get rid of my Adobe there. Right, if I go too fast, please stop me. If you have questions, please stop me. I don't want to rush it, but I also don't want to waste too much time because, of the content. So please, guide me with, the flow.
Hello.
Oh, and there he is. There's Sasa. We were just using your name very idly, so.
Oh, I heard it. That's
okay.
Why.
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you?
All good. Yeah, still out of base, but yeah, here I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Interesting.
Yeah. So you're gonna spend the time with us. That's wonderful, magnificent, fantastic. Okay. Right. So welcome, Neil. I see your name popped up there. I want to start with the basics, just to show you what you need. Obviously, we are talking about the MMR, which is this tool over here, this piece of avionics. Without the MMR, you can forget it. You'll never fly a GLS approach. So that is something that Zibo put into play for us many moons ago already. I actually meant to do a quick search here and see. Let's quickly see on my channel if I go back when this was introduced. 3 years ago already. So the Zibo has been capable of flying GLS literally for over 3 years now. Was when we introduced it the first time. So
Wow.
yeah, can you believe it? Time flies, eh? Over 3 years already. So this is the requirement, and to get it set up, we're going to go here into the EFB, and we're going to go to our display invariants and to systems. Over here you have multi-mode receiver, yes or no. If we set it to no, you'll see it's your ordinary nav1 and nav2 panels that come up. If we enable the MMR, you will now see that we now have the MMR. Okay, now the big story with the MMR now, the next step is you need to input the information correctly. So you first of all have to put it into a mode where the GLS will be accepted. All right, that's step 1. Then step 2 is going to be, let me drag my navigraph across quickly. Step 2 is you're going to have to go and find the GBAS code on your approach chart, which it then tells you this is GLS Zulu for runway 07 Charlie, and that is the code 22803. Right, so we have put 22803 in there, and then we have to make it active. Same goes for that one. All right, okay, now this is the basics. Obviously, we need to have the correct setup for the approach courses, which is 066. And because I've been flying here, it's already set up to 066. Now we're going to use a saved flight to get into it quickly and just do it. But it's important that we understand where it comes from and all the rest of the stuff. So now that is the basics. Why do we want to use GLS? And the reason is quite simple. Sasso, and you're welcome to jump in at any point in time, but for me,
Yeah.
okay, it is a hybrid system. So what happens is your vertical guidance is still done by glide slope. So it comes from a ground station, while lateral is then guided by the FMC satellite. in other words. Okay, so it's like a hybrid system, and you can do a more precise RNAV approach because it literally simulates Cat1 ILS. So in the event of weather, if you have a weather issue, you will see that your minimus, your decision altitude and stuff, is typically going to be lower and more in line with ILS than it will be with just using RNAV approaches and approach minimums. So it is for safety, and it is also used for then, safely guiding you in adverse weather events where RNAV will not be able to guide you down. Okay. Is that about it that you know, Sasso, as well?
Yes, the good point of the GLS approach is exactly that they don't suffer. Now it's difficult to simulate these in the simulator, but consider that when you are doing an approach on an ILS, let's say on a very busy aerodrome, let's call it Lisbon, for instance, and you are a separation of just 5 or 6 nautical miles from the preceding aircraft. When the preceding aircraft land and maybe another traffic line up for takeoff before your landing, then you may see, it's quite noticeable, a oscillation of the localizer. Okay, you can see actually a bit the aircraft following this oscillation. This comes with the ILS because just the signal is being disturbed. And this will lead, in fact, to that when we use Cat3 operation, we need to create a sensitive area around the antenna. Okay, so with the ILS Cat1, you may suffer this problem, and the GLS, of course, is basically doesn't suffer of this problem. So that's the main thing, which is quite noticeable in very busy aerodrome.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't realize it was going to be that noticeable. Okay, right. So just to recap quickly, the notes that I've got here, this is the old approach notes that I made way back when we made the initial bit of the series of the training videos. The link is in the description below the video, guys. So just click on show more, and then you can just download the document again if you don't have it yet. All right, so I've basically covered this. We've talked about the code. It just happens to be the exact same code because it's the exact same runway where we did the initial testing and everything on anyway. All right, there's your MMR, and then very importantly, this is your last requirement. All right, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 requirements basically after you've set it up. Your last one is you need to make sure in your arrivals page that you actually specify GLS as your approach, your preferred approach mode. GLS on the runway, and if there's any transitions, you have to specify that. Otherwise, it will not go into the GLS mode, so to speak, or won't get the correct information to tie up the MMR and the FMC to each other. You understand? So that's very important. And once you've done this, it's as easy as flying an ILS. So let's see if we can actually use one of these saved flights now. Any questions, guys? Any questions, comments before we continue?
An auto land works with this, does it?
Yes, you can do an auto land. I don't know if it's just in the simulator or if it's real world. I don't know if it's real world. Sorry, Sasa, continue.
Exactly. In the Boeing Flight Training Crew Manual by Boeing, GLS approaches are certified up to Category 1 approach minimums. So they have been tested already for auto land and rollout, but you need to have a proper certification to conduct auto land in GLS approaches.
Okay. Excellent.
So
that isn't
something
just,
that works, but
yeah, that isn't just the aircraft. The airfield has to be certified for auto land as well.
Yeah.
I understand. Don't know, Sasso, you're the man to know. But have you explained the difference between GLS between Europe and America yet, Nico? Is it worth mentioning at this stage, or are you mentioning it later?
Now you're thinking of LPV. The LPV is different between Europe. Yes. Yeah. The GLS is the same across the board, but what happens is the LPV changes. In Europe it's EGNOS and in America it's WAS. Yeah, so yeah, that's something different, but nice call, that one. Right, let's see. Okay, I've started the flight here. I'm gonna hit my approach button. We're literally simulating ILS, and while the aircraft is doing its thing, I'm gonna quickly just check. We need to be on 1015, and we need to have 1015 in here as well, because it is a hybrid system. It still means that you need to be very careful about having the correct QNH in your descent forecast page, as well as in your primary flight display there. Please guys, remember that.
And in the sim, don't do like me, that you start to test everything using the QNH, which is real, but you forgot to send the real weather feed to the sim, and then you go mad.
Yeah, because see, the problem is if you do not have the correct QNH, you're either going to be high or low at the threshold.
Exactly.
So yeah. Neil, I do not have a list, but I know from experience in the past there was a list available. All right, so I must see if I can get it for you. I just don't have it with me at all. So anyway, there we go. I'm going to start slowing down now. We're about 10 miles out, and then we're going to not have a problem.
Last I read, Neil, they're becoming much more common in America than they are
Flaps
in Europe,
one set.
although the list is growing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi everyone, hi Nico, hi Sasa.
Hello, Mikela.
Ciao.
Are you testing the point 13 of the Zibo?
I'm not testing, I'm doing a training video quickly on the GLS using the MMR and GLS. Right, so let me zoom in here quickly, let me show you. Just as all the other approaches you will see now, it is identified as being a GLS approach. You've got your runway and your DME, you've got your course heading, and then the identifier that you will also see on your charts. Alright, so you know, please make sure at all times that everything matches up and that you actually get what you're bargaining on. And there's the runway coming. What I have noticed in the Zibo, it is, I've tested this at Zurich and I've tested this at Frankfurt now. It's as if the aircraft is ever so slightly just offset to the right of the center line. Okay, it is just one of those things that I think Zibo can fix in time, but it's not important. It doesn't detract from the quality or the content of the training that we're trying to do with you. You will still get to see that it works.
Flaps 30 set. Ready for landing checklist.
Yeah, it's just something that I've noticed. I did, just for the record, and Zibo, if you're watching this video, I did recalibrate all my controllers. Remember, we had the problem where my rudders were causing a deviation, and because I noticed it, that was the first thing I recalibrated. And just before I started the stream, I recalibrated all my controllers just to make sure that there isn't an external influence on it. Neil, you're gonna love it. It just brings out some other stuff for you, you know, give you some other capabilities and so on. It's really nice.
1,000. 1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Bird.
Taxi
channel
lights
27.
on.
By the way, just also for the record, I've tested it with default scenery as well as this Aerosoft add-on scenery. They both give a very similar kind of a visual offset.
Approaching 07 center.
See, look, it feels as if that runway is to the left of us, you see.
500. Clear to land runway 07 center.
300. Approaching decision height.
It's lost our glide slope a little bit there.
Minimums. 100.
It's the first time I've tested it yesterday and this morning as well. First time I've noticed that it loses the glide slope. Hasn't done it before. We can do another run just now. Okay, but anyway, it brought us close enough. We were almost at minimums when the deviation happened, so it's not the end of the world. I think what we need to do is just also quickly
Auto brake in use.
check that the weather did input correctly, because it could also be a weather issue. 1015, let's check the map. Yeah, 1015, so that's fine. Okay, well, let's quickly put everything back in place and let's reload. Let's do it again.
60 knots. Yeah.
1,000 to go. 1,000 to go.
You are professional. Flaps
Alright, so
sunset.
we're gonna go 1015. Approach. We now forecast 1015. Alright, let's see. No, that's the LPV that was disabled. The LPV is still disabled. With U14 and LPV coming into play in the real world, Zibo is waiting for the real world information to switch it on again, because basically when he switched it on the previous time, it was just his version of it. It wasn't modeled according to the actual true and correct real world version. It was functional but not accurate, so he still got that disabled. GLS is definitely working, has been working for over 3 years to various degrees, with him rewriting the C++ code from XLua and things like that. You know, things have once or twice gone a bit awry, but at this point in time it is functional. Now the QNH is 1016 in this time, so we're gonna have to lift it a little
Flaps
bit.
5 set.
Right, while we're waiting for the approach to happen, on page 2 of the notes, I just want to quickly also mention that to you guys. Because it works like an ILS, you can set your approach altitude to your final approach fix altitude. It will bust the altitude, okay? Because you are going to press the approach button, we're on the approach already, it will not stop at 4,000. It's not
Radio
like the
altimeter.
normal LNAV, VNAV situation where it will stop at your MCP altitude. So bear that in mind, and then obviously you also need to remember to put your minimums in your decision
Flaps
altitude.
10 set.
Just wanted to mention that to you. Mako, GLS was never away. LPV is disabled. It's the LPV that has been disabled, and it is still disabled. But GLS has always been there. Hello, Thunder. Thank you so much.
Flaps 30 set. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
Nico, yesterday night I tried with the last fix of the Zibo an engine failure, and I'm seeing that the failure management
1,000.
system
Taxi lights
has
on.
become more precise.
Good.
1,000 feet
Good.
stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
At least now it works.
Nice.
Yes.
Hello, Krista.
Approaching 07 center. Let's see if it sticks to that right slope.
500.
Does look like it's
Clear to
losing
land
it.
runway 07 center.
Isn't it now? It will happen now just when I try and show you guys. No,
Approaching
it's
decision height.
lifting a bit. There we go. There we go. You see, now as you get closer, it's like it drifts into the runway. It starts off like kind of on the side, and then it just drifts back into it.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Now Nico must just land this thing. Hello, Ashok. Okay, so there you go. That in a nutshell is basically the whole story of
Throttle full.
the GLS. But I've just noticed something. So check the PFD. Check there. Check where ground level is. It's like we are under ground level. Yeah, look. It's like the actual QNH, according to the PFD, it should be 1031. Look there. And now it's taken it away. That is more than likely. There's a discrepancy between the weather that we inject from the safe flight situation versus what is current actual. And the thing that really amazes me is it doesn't pick it up here. We've got 1016 in the map.
Great landing.
Let's just check it
You
again.
are professional.
See, now it says 1015. But the Zibo saw that it's supposed to be 1031. So I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, it brings me back to something that I mentioned in the beginning of this video is you have to make sure that you have the correct QNH. It has to be correct in your descent forecast page, and it has to be correct there. That will create a discrepancy. That's fine, Steve. Can you please delete Ashok's comments that are non-relevant, please?
On runway 07 center.
So yeah, at this stage,
Nico, look in the FMC. What if you request the weather?
yeah, let's
like
see what
you
it
need
says.
them.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see what the FMC says.
Yeah, because that is very definitely a problem.
I had this problem when I was testing the RMP situation, and I was like going crazy because I was arriving flat on the runway.
Yes, me and
the
Zibo.
problem was the tuning.
Yeah, me and Zibo had it as well. You see, it says 1015. 1015. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Let's go to xEnviro, switch it off. So now we don't have any weather, right? Then let's go refly it for one more time.
But when you plan load that situation, just go into the X-plane menu and load the QNH you want.
Let's do that. Flight. 994's visibility. There's QNH 1013. Let's make it 15. Why not? Done. Apply changes.
Set. Stabilized.
Oh God. Costs 1015.
Positive rate.
So let's hit our approach button, make sure that the aircraft does what it needs to do. Right. Then let's go check the map. Cancel. 1015. Okay, let's see if this is better.
Flaps 5 set.
I was still using Active Sky when me and Zibo did some of the tests together way back many months, and it also drove us crazy until we realized that Active Sky was not changing the QNH on that flight. It just didn't.
Now there is a way to check if the weather is injected correctly.
The what?
The VSD, vertical situation display. Double click on CTR.
Yeah, of course.
No. Ah, yeah, okay. I'm just looking at YouTube, so I will be I will have a bit of delay.
No problem. Usually when you go to the map and you go to that page, and also it gives you the correct one. That is what the explain sees. We'll let it go, you know, and we'll see what happens now.
Flaps 15 set.
Now I'm looking into your VSD. Increase the range so that maybe 20 nautical miles. So on the VSD you should be able to see the white line of the runway.
Yeah, there's it. It's at 10. It's at 10, almost 10 nautical miles is the runway. And there you can see there's your nose, and you'll see it will touch the runway. You'll see it's coming down. You'll see it's right at the threshold, so I'm presuming it's okay. It's just gone through it because it's increasing the descent. It'll lift it now again.
Just a thought, Nick.
Yeah.
What have you got your weather update frequency?
It's 15 minutes in xEnviro, but I've switched it off now, Mac.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it was a safe situation.
Yeah, it
maybe
interfered.
Wait,
Mm.
yeah, the weather update and update it to current. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
it's such a short time.
yeah, Mac, the difference between the saved situation and the current weather is 1. It's QNH 1015 versus
Right.
1016. What surprised me was when I got to the runway was showing me that we were underneath the ground level. So if you rewind the video, you'll see it. If it doesn't show it again, you'll see.
No, that's what I was getting at. I
Yeah.
was trying to think of reasons why it was giving you a false
Yeah.
readout.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what it does this time.
Yep,
That's looking
much better.
yeah. And you've got that constant, was it 700 at the moment, feet per minute?
900 now.
900. So,
850, yeah, 900.
The glide is 3 degrees or more.
Tell you now. As far as I know, it's 3.
3 degrees, okay.
It should be.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for
3
landing.
degrees according to the FMC.
Okay. And ground speed is
160.
$1,000.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
Approaching 07
Taxi
center.
lights on. $500. Clear to land runway.
See, it's like it's
07
drifting
center.
back to the runway the whole time.
400.
Look at the glide slope, it's much more stable. It's not that weird up and down situation. That weather was definitely
Approaching
messing it
to
around.
800.
See?
Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30.
Minimum.
20. 10.
Reverse unlock.
But look at the ground on the PFD. Look where the ground is. See? So it could be a broken safe flight situation. It could be broken weather. I don't think it's broken weather. Whatever it is, there is something influencing it. So what I would recommend, lady.
Nico, Nico.
What?
Reselect the minima. So cancel that minima and reselect the minima.
All right, we can do that.
Flaps upset.
There's also another thought I've got here, and it might be to do with scenery, Nico. Is this default scenery?
No, this is add-on. But Mac, I've never had this until I started to show this video this evening. Until we started this thing, I've been flying this thing over and over yesterday and this morning.
I wasn't on about the out. I was on about the angle of the runway compared with the direction of the flight.
It
Reverse
shouldn't be a
unlock.
problem.
Flaps
What is now
upset.
clicking like that? Something's
That's
clicking.
weird.
Okay, so it's stopped now.
I don't know if you noticed, but on approaching this runway, there was no rising runway on the PFD as well.
Ooh, I didn't actually even notice that.
Yes.
So, okay. My educated guess says that it's a saved flight situation. That's where it comes from.
Nico, do you mind to fly the ILS? Because I want to see if the
Approaching
problem
transition.
is triggered by the MMR being in GLS mode.
Yeah,
Or if it's something else.
I don't mind flying the ILS, but let's go back one save just to give me some time to set it up then quickly.
Yeah.
Right, so I've just gone back a little while. Right, so we want to have it in ILS mode. 11055. 11055.
Approaching transition.
11055.
Thousand to go.
Right, and then we have forecast 1015.
Thousand to go.
There's our approach. Right, okay. This ILS is active, Sasso.
Yeah. I just want to see if the PFD will
change.
like normal.
Yeah. I've also done the reset on the barrow.
Okay. Consider that I will have a delay here watching YouTube.
You on your mobile?
Localizer capture.
Well, I'm on the iPad.
iPad, okay.
Yeah, but I have YouTube open.
Right, there you guys can see, just to recap again, the the descent altitude is the 4,000 for the final approach fix. And because it treats it like an ILS, it will bust through the altitude like ILS.
Glide slope capture. Flaps 5 set.
Radio altimeter.
Flaps 10 set. Flaps 30 set.
is the rising runway on the PFD.
Oh. Okay. Then this is something to check.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's connected with the MMR being in GLS mode.
Shouldn't. I don't know. It did not give it to me from, and I've been thinking about it. It's the same flight situation I've been using now for 2 days already. Never had this problem. It's just my luck because we want to stream it and show the guys. That's all. Just sent it test me again because I want to smack it. Stupid.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude 7.
I don't know if you already landed. Switch now into the MMR.
Wait. I haven't landed yet, but why do you want me to switch to the MMR now? Because we haven't completed the test.
No, it's to see if the runway will disappear when it's reaching the MMR.
Taxi lights on.
No, the runway is still there, but the MMR now shows me high.
400.
So there's a discrepancy between what my altitude is. There is a discrepancy with the altitude and the MMR. So that is something that the boss can have a look at. But in essence, look, it doesn't take away from the training or how it's supposed to work or stuff. There is obviously something different now in my system than there was before.
50, 40,
The principle, the theory, the technicalities, everything is still the way it should be. Except that I landed hard, but that's beside the point. You see, now we in ILS mode and we are again, the PFD shows us way underground. So it's not relevant to the stream. It's not relevant to the training. It's just something we picked up and now we went into testing mode. But that is weird, man. That's weird. That's really weird. We might have to redo this video when we sort this out. But anyway, I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys learned something because there was a lot of value put into it, you know, apart from the obvious error. But I mean, the rest is all valid. So I hope you guys liked it. Thank you, Sasa, for your input, and Mac.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
I liked it and I found it very interesting, although I came late.
No problem. Thanks. No problem there. Just come on.
And if I can ask, I have a question about the vertical situation display.
Sure.
Actually, when doing an LS approach, when I activate the VSD, I can't see the glide slope, and I don't know why.
Well, we can
what do you mean, the
glide slope? Yeah, because we can have a look at it again. I was on the glide path the whole time. It shows me the glide path when I did it just now, so we'll have to have a look.
Okay, as far as I know, Sato, in the real life, if you are on the glide path, you can also see it on the VSD. Isn't that true?
What do you mean you can see it? Like you can see the airplane moving, like the path going down, the magenta line, or you mean the actual diamond?
No, I mean the line on the VSD.
The line should be there.
It was there.
Okay, and I don't have it there, and I don't know why.
Double check that you have an ILS loaded correctly in the FMC. Because if you have not an ILS but something else loaded, for instance a FAWUR, an AirNav, or I don't know, another type of approach, then the VSD will basically follow the legs page. And so if there is no runway point, he will stop, the magenta descend line will
Reverse
stop
unlocked.
at the last
Approaching
waypoint,
transition.
which usually is Mike Delta
Stabilized.
something.
Positive rate.
So just double check, make
Flaps
sure that you have an
upset.
ILS. I'm not talking about the frequency, but you need to have the correct ILS loaded in the legs page, because the VSD is taking the information from the legs page, not from the radio.
Okay, I see. So I'm pretty sure all the time I noticed it. I had an ILS correctly set in the FMC, but I will check it and I will let you know.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Pleasure.
Go try it, Scotsman, and let me know what you think. I made the approach run a little bit longer again so that we can force xEnviro to do an update. I hope it does an update now, so we can see.
You want to test these ILS thing with VSD?
Yeah, we can. It's not really my focus point at this point in time. I'm really hoping to get the appropriate reset, if I can call it that, in terms of the weather, the QNH. It's bugging me a little bit.
In the X-Plane menu, Nico, after you reload the situation, maybe after you reload the situation, deselect xEnviro and reactivate.
I did. I did. No, I did just now, while you and Mikele were talking. I actually did it because that was my logical train of thought as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's your VSD and there is your descent line. Your glide path is there. Look, glide slope, glide path, whatever you want to call it, it's there. It is there. Just don't get xEnviro to update now. Why? It's there, but it's not there. Don't know how else to put it. It's there, but it's not there.
Flaps 5 set.
Yep. No, we don't have the runway. See? Yet.
Flaps 15 set.
There we have, it's just updated, so it's 1015. Let's see what it does.
Flaps 30 set.
Christer, my test airports is Zurich and Frankfurt. you're welcome to go find any other one anywhere in the world. You can go fly St. Helena as well if you want to. There used to be one. I hope it's still there. But these are my two.
Yeah, supposedly there is. I did find a few more airports, but there is. I did a search. I can't on Google find an up-to-date list.
Yeah.
Only an outdated list. Malaga has got one. Zurich. St. Helena.
Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
They haven't implemented it yet at Dublin either, have they?
Nope. Nope. Too busy to build in the other country.
That opens tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can see their icon now.
So just as a matter of interest, I'm just checking this document that I made for the training. It wasn't on the PFD there anyway either. If you look at the actual training document. So are we sure, you see there it is, are we sure it should be there in GLS that it's got a rising runway?
Because Sasa's connection is not working anymore. It's not online.
I see.
Also,
500, clear to land runway 07 center.
Paul has also noted
300.
quite a lot of buffering in the UK area.
Okay.
Approaching decision height 200.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not aware of it. My system says it's working, but what I do find interesting is that the system actually now, after this reload, put me on the left-hand side. So I'm willing to guess and venture into that guessing mode that the safe flight situation as well as the weather are the two things counting.